American officials have announced a major change in policy regarding the Gaza Strip. The relocation of Gaza's residents, initially proposed as a permanent move, will now be temporary. This clarification comes after significant criticism from the international community and human rights groups. The relocation is being framed as a humanitarian pause, allowing time for the reconstruction of Gaza following the devastating conflict. The initial proposal, put forward by President Trump, suggested the U.S. could take over Gaza. The idea was to resettle the 2 million Palestinian residents and rebuild the area. This plan was met with immediate backlash, with many calling it unrealistic and illegal under international law. The White House maintains its commitment to rebuilding Gaza. However, they are now emphasizing the temporary nature of the relocation. This shift in language suggests a move away from a permanent solution imposed by the U.S. The question remains, what happens after this humanitarian pause? The current crisis in Gaza is the latest chapter in a long and bloody conflict. The region has been a flashpoint for violence for decades, with tensions rooted in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The recent escalation began in October 2023 with a Hamas attack on Israel, followed by a fierce Israeli military response. The fighting has left Gaza in ruins. Homes, hospitals, and infrastructure have been destroyed. The United Nations estimates that it could take decades to rebuild. The humanitarian situation is dire, with millions displaced and facing shortages of food, water, and medical supplies. The international community has condemned the violence and called for a ceasefire. However, a lasting solution to the conflict remains elusive. The underlying issues, including land disputes, security concerns, and political status, remain unresolved. The U.S. proposal to relocate Gaza's residents, even temporarily, has raised serious legal concerns. International law prohibits the forced transfer of populations from occupied territories. Critics argue that any relocation plan must be voluntary and carried out with the consent of the affected population. The international community is watching the situation closely. The United Nations has called for a humanitarian corridor to be established to allow aid to reach those in need. Many countries have also pledged financial assistance for Gaza's reconstruction. The U.S. clarification that the relocation will be temporary may ease some international pressure. However, the plan still faces significant hurdles, including logistical challenges and the need to ensure the safety and well-being of those being relocated. The future of Gaza remains uncertain. The temporary relocation plan, while well-intentioned, is a short-term solution to a complex problem. The root causes of the conflict remain unaddressed, and the potential for further violence is high. The U.S., as a key player in the region, faces a difficult task. Balancing its support for Israel with the need to address the humanitarian crisis in Gaza will require careful diplomacy. The international community must also work together to find a sustainable solution that ensures the rights and security of both Israelis and Palestinians. The temporary relocation of Gaza's residents is a stopgap measure. It is a reminder of the urgent need for a just and lasting peace in the region. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more updates.